Okay, John, is everybody in? Okay. Welcome, everybody, to the Representative Town Hall meeting. Today's Friday, April the 14th. These meetings are co-sponsored by the Friends of Daisy Mountain Trails and the Anthem Community Council. My name is Vivian Decker, and I am with Friends of the Daisy Mountain Trails. And today I'll introduce for the Anthem Community Council is the Communications Director, John Saffin, who is at the Zoom controls. This meeting is being recorded. First off, I'd like to introduce Ann Hutchinson. She's the editor of our community report, and so she will be giving that. Oh, you're on mute, Ann.
All right, I have the screen up. Everybody see the screen?
Yes.
All right. Hang on, I gotta do something to shoot. I can't do it, Rail. You'll have to wait. So this is the community report. As you see, the top part has the generic, how to reach the various counties, and then there's some ongoing, the I-17 project, the lunch at New River. Just if you have lunch there, it's a great thing. Just reserve a day ahead of time. The food bank is doing a wonderful service here and New River. And you can see the link there. The city of Phoenix is still doing their community survey. So you can get input into that. And of course, and John will probably talk about it more, the Business Saturday community market, plus all the other Anthem activities. Up at the Larkin Park, up at the Kiwanis Park, they're having roping for all ages. It's free. And the 3 dates at practically every Friday. Tomorrow at Black Canyon Heritage Park, we have a work day looking for volunteers. A great time to be outdoors with friends and just for a few hours. We got weeding and clipping and stuff. Also in Black Canyon City, there's a health fair at the food bank. There'll be screenings, there'll be community information booths. The police department will be there showing how to install seatbelt chairs, lots of really good things. More things at the Kiwanis, the Saddle Club Gincana is several dates there, usually on Saturday, but for some reason it's Sunday this week. Bill Gates is starting up his community meetings at noon on Tuesday, April 18th at the fire station. Thank you, Brian, for giving him that space. And the Youth for Troops is leading the making plastic mats for homeless vets. And the school district is having a career exploration employment expo. The Phoenix District Councilwoman, she'll have her community meeting. She rotates between in the morning down at Metro, and then the next month, which would be this month, is closer to the northern area and the evening. So she hasn't determined the place yet, but you can go to that link and you can register, and she'll post the where it is, probably early next week. Fire Board meets also April 24th. They have a Zoom link. The agenda is posted shortly before the meeting. The county has a number of things, and on this report, you'll see, I think the next page is the green waste drop off, what they can drop off. I'll show you that in a minute. Kiwanis Club is meeting the April 25th and May 9th, twice a week. They're doing amazing things. They have a cleanup coming up too. We'll need some help. I think it's May 5th or whatever that Saturday is. And they're doing lots of community good works. They've given money for the food bank. They've done better raise your grades for grade school and rewards the kids. The Anthem Community Council Board is meeting coming up. The Rock Mineral, the first donut and coffee for veterans may also May 5th, and the chamber meeting. They've got a leadership academy that they'll be talking about, but they also have a speaker every week, and it's right there at the community center. This is the county no fee green waste. You can see they'll take brush, branches, grass, and leaves. And then the other items they'll take, but there'll be some normal waste fees. And that's coming up April 22nd and 29th, 2 more days left. This, all of this is posted on the Friends of Daisy Mountain site. You just click on the liaison report for this month. These are all posted there. So this tells you there are some virtual open houses. If you want to give them some feedback, there's a link on the construction that's in English and Spanish. And there's also how to prepare your home for wildfires. So that's included as we get heavily into fire season. I'm sure Brian will talk about that a little bit more. Any questions? Brian, you have.
Yes, I have just a comment that our district board meeting is still scheduled for April 24th. We are going to start having that meeting at 6 p.m. instead of 7. So if you want to change that on your notice, you'll see when the agenda comes out that the meeting will be posted for 6 p.m.
All right, I will change that later and repost it. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for the update. Any other questions?
Nope, not hearing or seeing any.
All right.
Thank you, Ann, for that. And thank you, Chief Tobin, for stepping in and giving us the time change on that. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and send it on over to John for the Anthem news and updates. Oh, John, you're on mute.
There are millions of people who are probably glad I am on mute some days. So I'm John Saban, Communications Director for Anthem Community Council. Great to be here. Let me get started because there's a whole lot going on. Beginning tomorrow, Saturday the 15th, we've got our Go Green event for Anthem residents. Starts at 8 a.m. You have to be in line by 10:45 to be able to get through the recycling event. This you'll enter with your vehicle through the lower parking lot of the community park. And the best way to do that is come from Anthem Way down Freedom Way to West Whitman Drive. Residents will need to bring proof of residency. All the details of what can and cannot be recycled, you'll find online at anthem.com. And then also for residents tomorrow at the community center is the grand opening of Adventure Club with a free hour of play for the kids from 11:30 to 12:30. When you get to the community center, just check in at the front desk. They'll point you where you need to go. And then for the entire community, because music is always a great thing, Music in May kicks off Friday, May 5th with the Thaddeus Rose Band. They play a lot of popular variety music. So all through the month of May, every Friday, great mood, great music, food trucks. We encourage dancing. Please bring a chair or a blanket to make yourself comfortable. And again, the list of bands and the food trucks available can also be found online at anthem.com. And then on Sunday, May 14th, is our Market in the Park, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the community park. This is produced by the Market on 41st. Opportunity to go shop outdoors in a great environment, see your neighbors, and get some retail shopping done, whatever you might need. You'll find all sorts of information online at anthem.com, including the community calendar. And of course, this is with all the other town hall meetings will be available on YouTube before the end of the weekend. So thank you very much. Everybody have a great weekend too.
Thank you, John. Okay, I've got one quick little tidbit also. A couple months ago, I brought information about the BLM, Bureau of Land Management, or planning prescribed burns in both Yavapai and Maricopa counties. And I have been keeping in touch with the gentleman in regards to when they possibly will be doing the burning pile brush over by Lake Pleasant. In my last contact with him, that he states that the prescribed burning near Lake Pleasant has been put on hold because of so much rain this winter. And the fire staff haven't been able to burn the areas north yet. So the extended dates for the prescribed burn are now April through May. And I actually was in contact with him yesterday, and they haven't got anything new updated on that. And of course, I will keep, like Chris, if you want to be able to put that in, your face pages and stuff, and maybe even John, because I know if the weather is just right, the winds from that prescribed burn could actually come over the Desert Hills, New River, Anthem area. So I just wanted to update everyone on that. And of course, daisymountain.org and online at Anthem for all your updates and information. Okay, now before I introduce today's speaker, I think we're all on mute, and we have asked that questions be sent in ahead of time when we do have a few questions. But if you wind up having a question after the chief does his presentation, please go ahead and just put it in chat, and that I think will work. The Daisy Mountain Fire District serves the residents of Anthem, Black Canyon City, Cave Creek, Desert Hills, and New River. Daisy Mountain Fire Medical spans 2 counties, Maricopa and Yavapai County, and protects a population of about 60,000 residents. In February of 2020, Chief Tobin was appointed as the fire chief of the Daisy Mountain Fire Medical Department. It's my pleasure to introduce Chief Tobin this morning to our meeting.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you.
Okay, so I'm going to push the green share screen button. I think that's all I have to do. So
Should
I'm going to
be.
do so. Is that correct?
I don't see it yet.
Does it say I'm sharing right now? It
Yes.
does. I can see it. So now let me get to my presentation. I have to put this away and this away and get to this. Can everybody see it? It should say Phoenix Regional Automatic Gauge System Overview.
Yes.
Perfect.
Okay, then we're on. And it says I'm sharing. So hopefully the audio will work on this as well. I tried it out yesterday, and if it does, it'll be better. If not, all you'll have is me today. So here we'll start off. Can you hear this?
No, we cannot.
Okay, that's the part I got to figure out here. Why my audio? You're not getting the audio on that?
No, and that's a problem I've seen happen before, the audio.
Yeah, I thought I got it fixed yesterday. So my star Tiffany told me how to get it done. So that will be a little problematic if I don't get that done. So hang on just a second. Let me see. Oh boy.
Brian, I noticed at the bottom right of your presentation that there was a symbol for your audio and it had a line through it. So perhaps
Okay.
does that mean you just need to click on that?
Let me find it. Where would that be?
Oh, I saw it on the previous, the initial slide, I think.
That one? Well, it was a whole lot better with all kinds of great stuff that my staff was able to put together for me, but I have been through this before, tried it last night, and it seemed to have worked fine when Tiffany and I did it together. So there was a couple of buttons that I needed to push to make the audio work. So I'm still going to look for those. Here they are right here. I think that's going to work now. Let's see, okay? That is not the one I want to show you. Let's try this again.
And we have sound.
Yay.
We have a brush fire down here at Desert Hills and 26th Street.
How large
On
is
the
the area?
right-hand side, pretty big, and there's a lot of houses and horses around here. And it looks like it's getting worse really fast. It's burning pretty close to a few houses.
How far away from the houses?
20 feet.
Okay.
The 2020 wildland season was unlike any we have ever experienced here within the Daisy Mountain Fire District and the surrounding areas. The combination of high temperatures mixed with low humidity and extensive fuel loading created a threat worse than any season we've seen in the past. This year, our crews responded to 76 wildfires in and around our district. Locally, more than 18,000 acres of land was scorched this year alone, and nearly 16,000 of those are within the borders of the Daisy Mountain Fire District. Sadly, some homes were lost and multiple properties were significantly impacted by these fires. The most destructive of these fires was the Ocotillo fire, where 20 structures were destroyed in the town of Cave Creek. On June 23, 2020, Daisy Mountain Fire and Medical experienced the largest greater alarm fire in our department's history. The IKEA fire started in a wash between homes and quickly spread towards the community of Desert Hills, threatening multiple homes and forcing widespread evacuations. The significant threat to life and property caused this fire to reach the level of a 5th alarm response. Hundreds of responders worked seamlessly together to extinguish this blaze, evacuate residents, and provide for the safety and well-being of those displaced. In total, the IKEA fire scorched nearly 900 acres. Fortunately, due to the fast response of crews, only one home was lost and there were no injuries reported from this fire. This is because Daisy Mountain Fire and Medical is a member of the Automatic Aid System, which sends help to an emergency faster. The Automatic Aid System consists of 28 Valley Fire Departments who together essentially function as one large fire department under the Automatic Aid Agreement. During the IKEA fire, 115 units were dispatched within the first 2 hours. Along with the help of our automatic aid partners, we had help from multiple other agencies and individuals. We here at Daisy Mountain Fire and Medical would like to say thank you. Thank you for helping us protect our community. Thank you for your hard work. Thank you for your dedication and your commitment to keeping others safe.
It started right on the edge of town, kind of an area between the Little League field and our propane farm. So I don't really know for sure or what would have started it.
A bad situation we've been following all day. Right now at 8 o'clock, a town in Yavapai County is burning up in flames. People in the town of Baghdad, Arizona have been forced to leave their home. Here are some of the pictures that have been coming into our newsroom. This wildfire is really moving through that town At last check, Royal, 25 homes burned to the ground.
Yeah, it's amazing how fast this went from a brush fire just outside of the city limits to a full-blown fire moving through town.
With no crazy winds either.
Not really. The winds were fairly mild during most of the
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a little drama to start off my presentation with you all, but I think it's important to remember where we were 2 years ago. Last year, our wildfire season was fairly mild because of the relative humidity in the valley in May and June of last year. We had a pretty mild wildland season. But as you all know, it's been raining, and when it rains, things grow. So I thought it was important for us to remember that even though you all are in the Daisy Mountain Fire District and I'm the Daisy Mountain Fire Chief, it's important to know that you're not just a part of a small district with 6 fire stations in 2 different counties, but it's really a much larger commitment that we make and that you support. So it's important for us all to understand that by having the resources that we do in Daisy Mountain allows us to participate in a much larger system that had it not been for that, the outcome of the Aegea fire, you could have and probably would have been much worse. This week is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week, so I wanted to give a shout out to all our folks in our dispatch center. And this short video just demonstrates the high technology that our regional dispatch system employs. And this video was done about 2 years ago. I don't know what happened to it. Did I lose you, or did I just lose my screen?
You just lost the screen.
Wonder why.
There it is.
Yeah.
When you call 911, they are knowledgeable enough to walk you through the steps, whether it be CPR, pulling someone from a pool, somebody choking. They can stay on the phone and actually walk you through steps to perform your own life-saving efforts prior to 911 and fire trucks arriving.
I love just being able to help people, being able to be that calm voice on the other end of the phone when it's sometimes the worst day of someone's life, but you can kind of be that calming voice, reassuring voice, getting the help that's needed.
Main reason why we came from our building is because technology comes, it updates so quickly all the time, and our system in the old room was starting to become outdated, and it needed to be updated.
So it's the Phoenix Regional Dispatch, which dispatches for 26 cities surrounding Phoenix and including Phoenix. So they actually moved into this just 3 days ago. So this is brand new, and for them, this is a state-of-the-art structure for them. This is about 4 times the size of the one that they came from. So considering all the cities that we dispatch for and how big that is and how many calls we dispatch for, you would think that they'd be in a facility like this a long time, but this is really new and exciting for them.
Okay, so here's our system, and you can see Daisy Mountain up in the far right-hand corner. It doesn't go all the way to Black Canyon City, but all the little red dots are all the fire stations in the regional system. Daisy Mountain joined that system in 1991. We were one of the first 10 departments to join the regional system, and you can see, up through last year in 2022 when Cave Creek joined, and just before that, Black Canyon City. Both of those areas are served by the firefighters from the Daisy Mountain Fire District. Here's some things to mention about it. There's a lot of things that this system has done that were ahead of the power curve in the National Fire Service. We use lots of technology to make this system the most innovative and efficient. And we believe that it is the most efficient dispatch and response system in the country. There was some talk in the video about the Ocotillo fire. There was also the East Desert fire over in Cave Creek. As a result of those two incidents and other things, Cave Creek wanted to start their own fire department. They reached out to Daisy Mountain to see if we could provide them the staffing for that fire station, and we did that. We have one fire station in Cave Creek now that used to be in the old car wash. We've hired a bunch of firefighters at the end of 2021 that they paid for, and they were approved to be in the automatic aid system just shortly after opening that fire station in January of 2022. There's lots of components that our partners have to participate in and agree to. These are all contractual agreements. Here's some of the basic ones. Most of these all revolve around firefighter safety. We all have to have radio systems. We have to take care of our own areas, right? So Daisy Mountain Fire District has to take care of our residents. They're not expecting others to do it for us. We're part of the regional radio system. We all follow the same command procedures to keep our firefighters safe. These are all written down in procedural manuals that the Phoenix Fire Department manages. All of our command officers, which are our battalion chiefs, and our company officers who are on our fire trucks, all participate in ongoing training so that we stay connected and updated. And we all participate in what's called the Incident Safety Officer System, which is a national standard, 1521, which helps us with how we operate on the fire ground. We all have to have similar or compatible equipment. We all have a standardized response criteria. What that means is we all dispatch the same types of resources at least minimally to each type of incident that's categorized in the automatic aid system. Full staffing for us is 4 people on a fire truck. 2 of those are paramedics in the Daisy Mountain Fire District. So of the 4 members, 2 are also paramedics. And these are also national standards, NFPA 1710, National Fire Protection Association. All of our firefighters go through the same initial recruit training that firefighters in all the other cities go through. Those are conducted in what we call regional academies. There's 6 of those throughout the valley. Daisy Mountain Fire District sends our firefighters to any one of those regional academies that has space and accommodations at the timing of our firefighters. So this whole system is governed by what's called the Life Safety Council, which is every fire chief from every partner in the area. All of our operations chiefs participate in our Operations Consistency Committee. Like I said, we have regional firefighter training facilities. There's 1 regional alarm room, our dispatch center, that covers most of the area. Mesa also has a regional dispatch center, and there's connectivity between the 2 in case something happened to one. The other one would be able to take over from the one that had any issues associated with going down or something like that. And they all follow our dispatch systems, all follow also another national standard, 1221, and of course, 1710 that I mentioned. So the Life Safety Council evaluates other requests to join, such as Black Canyon City and Cave Creek. Those were the last 2 entered, and the Life Safety Council is the one that decides who can participate and who can't based on whether or not they're fulfilling the requirements. Sometimes areas grow outside of what their original service area is, and if service area changes, those are also up to review by the Life Safety Council to make sure they're being served properly. Conversely, if a fire department wants to close and/or change its geographical boundaries of a fire station, those determinations also need to go through the Life Safety Council to make sure that they don't impact other participants in a negative way. So here's a couple of pictures of, this was the East Desert Fire. This is up in Cahava Springs. That was the first one in May of 2020 that we had. This picture is an example of that regional system and everybody working together. You can see the Phoenix Fire Department, the Glendale Fire Department, my staff, and MCSO all in a unified command location while we were managing strategically the operations of the East Desert Fire. Oh, sorry, I went backwards. So these are just an example of all the units that participated in that specific incident in Cahava Springs, all the way to the fact where the Guadalupe Fire Department, which is sandwiched between Tempe and Phoenix, they have a Type 6 engine, which is otherwise referred to as a brush truck. And as a result of that equipment staffed in the Guadalupe Fire Department, they actually were on the scene at the Ocotillo fire, and you can see them here. They were a participant in our system. So let's talk a little bit about where we are this season, right? I don't have to tell anybody here because you all live and work in the same place that I essentially do. We've had a lot of rain. There's no question about that. We've had record amounts of rain, and with that will come, as we all see, beautiful deserts that are all flowered right now. But as soon as that heat comes, which is only just a couple of days ago, you can see that weather pattern is starting to dry out all of our brush. So the National Weather Service produced, a presentation to the Maricopa County Emergency Management Advisory Committee, and here's their summary of that. Obviously, the weather was wetter than normal, so there was lots of fuel growth. There's a slight tilt and nods for a drier than normal late spring, so they're expecting our late spring to be drier. They don't think that that's a drought, but it's going to be typically hot and dry in the late spring. There's certainly an enhanced wildfire threat in the lower deserts and brush belt. That's us. They talked a little bit about possible lower wildlife threat in the mountains because they've gotten so much rain and there's still some snow cover there. But here's the key is what they're most concerned about are these areas around Whitman and Morristown, not affecting us very much, but Cave Creek, Carefree, and the wild urban interface area. So the Cave Creek, Carefree area encompasses us, and certainly the wildland urban interface does. So we're all concerned about the wildfire threat this season, and it really doesn't look like they're favoring wetter or drier monsoon. So the heat remains the #1 weather hazard, and it has an exponential increase when we have the risk. And that's of course what we saw in May of 2020, 3 months after I started to be your fire chief in the Daisy Mountain Fire District, ironically. So the question is, what can we do about this? And I know that's a concern for most. And the best thing we can do is prepare. We had already shared this earlier, but I can't emphasize enough how there's a lot of individual responsibility that goes along with how we live in a wildland urban interface and the concern about wildland fires impacting your homes. There's things that you need to do to protect yourself from that if you don't, there's sometimes almost an impossibility of saving your home in the event that you have this wildland urban interface. And of course, that's what we saw with the Ocotillo fire, where they lost about 8 structures in Cave Creek. So, the same thing we've always said, you got to trim the trees and things at least 10 feet away from your roof line. You got to clear brush and debris 30 feet away from your home. And, there's also the discussion on where you can take all of those things. I'm glad that was mentioned, but these 3 days are a partnership that Maricopa County made with basically the Daisy Mountain Fire District, because they were closing this Cave Creek transfer station. And we reached out to them and said, you really need to do something to make sure that when we tell people or advise people to clear debris from their home, that they have somewhere that they can take that. You just can't close that transfer station. They had public comment about that transfer station. And so we took the lead on it and told them that they needed to do something different. Supervisor Bill Gates was very supportive of this. And they made these 3 special days that you can bring things to that Cave Creek transfer station at no cost. So again, this is residential waste It's not commercial waste, and it's not large timber and roots and things like this. This is your typical homeowner clear outs, which is what we're trying to enforce and recommend. So please encourage yourself, I encourage you and your neighbors to participate as much as you can. So what else? It's, it's the ready, set, go system. You have to be ready long before an emergency starts. You have to be prepared. That means you have to have, an emergency plan created in a go bag. There's different websites that you can go to, maricopacounty.gov, preparedness for tips on how to create that go bag. You need to be set when the emergency starts. You need to be prepared to evacuate. Being set means that you put your go bag by the door, you gather your family and pets, including livestock, and be poised to leave as soon as you can. So once you receive a notification, you need to go. And there are different systems that I hope this gets spread around on opt-in systems where you will get text messages if you sign up for the Ready, Set, Go system, which is this website, the Emergency Information Notification System at az.gov, Ready, Set, Go. Go there for more information. This is what it is. It's that community emergency notification system. It lets you know about all major fires, public safety, floods, hazardous materials. It makes a lot of sense for you to join this system so that you can get those notifications early. Most of those notifications will tell you some basic information and refer you to a website to go to get additional, more detailed information. And that again is the website to go to for that. So I don't want to scare you to death because your fire department that you support and you invest in is ready for this wildland season. This is the equipment that we have available to us, and it's all ready to go for the wildland season. We have our typical engine companies that you see on a regular basis in the bottom left-hand corner. And then you see on the bottom right-hand corner, we have water tenders that deliver water for us because these areas don't have very robust hydrant systems. The top right-hand corner are our type 6 brush trucks. We got 3 new ones just in the last budget cycle, so they're ready to go this year. And then on the top left is what we call a brush engine, which is a little bit of the brush truck and the engine all in one. And as you can see, a little bit more designed to go off-road. And then in the middle are our command officers, our chief officers in the Daisy Mountain Fire District that will manage these incidents for our members to keep them safe. And that completes my PowerPoint presentation. But like I said, I would be more than happy. Can you see me again? Be more than happy to answer any other questions, Vivian, that anybody might have.
Thank you, Chief Tobin. That was a very nice presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. How many people are on right now? How many people are in attendance?
We show 12.
Okay.
But the meeting is actually being recorded, so we'll put the link, the YouTube link on our website. And I can't speak for Anthem, but I think it might be a good idea for them maybe to let people know that this has also been recorded. I know I was feverishly trying to write down all those websites, but
yeah,
again,
I can send you the PowerPoint that has those links in it if you want. And you can put those up there as well, including the whole presentation if you'd like.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. Yes, please. Okay, we do have a few questions that were sent in, and I see we just got one in the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and touch base with the ones that were sent in first. The first one I've got is from Barry Allen. He lives in the country club, I believe. And he is interested in learning if there's anything about the smoke from burning stink net, which is especially bad. Some people have said that smoke from stink net is acidic and irritating, but I don't know if this support is different from any other brush and fire smoke. Do you have any kind of information on that?
I have no information on that. All I can tell you is that I would suggest that all brush fires have, and all brush has that same type of odor. And I wouldn't think that this vegetation has any difference than any other. So, and I have never heard that it did.
Okay.
And hopefully no one's burning it. Can we just say that?
There's no fire restrictions yet, is there?
Let's hope no one's burning their brush.
Yeah. Which would be also really good just to pull the stuff out and get it out and then take it April 22nd to the Cave Creek.
Yeah, as everybody knows, this plant is not, indigenous to the area, and it is growing like wildfire, no pun intended. And when it drops its seeds, they're so microscopic, and there's thousands of them. That's why they say you have to bag it, and move it, because if you don't, you just drop the seeds for it to grow again. And irregardless of that, it's pretty hard. I mean, bagging it is obviously the right thing to do, but this is a really difficult plant for us all to manage. And as you can see, it's robust this year as it's ever been, regardless of what people have done to try and keep it down. So I would suggest that early herbicides that prevent the growth is probably your best option in most cases. Some people don't like to do that, I understand, but if you're looking for the right way to do it, is probably early to prevent it from growing as much as you can. But that was almost impossible for us to do this spring because of the rains. You could put it down one day and it just got washed away, but it's pretty difficult. But I've never heard of any difference in its burning, that it does anything any different than any other brush fire I've been to.
Okay, thank you.
May I say a word?
Well, Barry, we've got a few other questions if you want to keep it kind of quick. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, if you look behind me, this is the view from our home. We're on the 10th fairway, and what you're seeing in yellow is some of it is ragweed, but I took this photo 2 years ago, and all of that yellow there is a stink net. And because last year it diminished somewhat, but it came back this year because of the rains. Mm-hmm. Also, if you want to have a closer look at what it's like and what it smells like, just go to the first tee in the Persimmon Golf Course, and there's about a 200 to 300 foot stretch of it right off the tee, and it's which I've sent a note to over to Margaret Troyer about, and so I'm hoping they'll do something about it until otherwise when it goes to seed, that'll blow into people's property. The fire hazard is, as far as I'm concerned, is enormous when I see that behind my house. So it's good that everybody knows about it, and certainly as the Daisy Mountain Trail Organization, there has to be a ton of it around Daisy Mountain that I can't see from where I am, but it's all over the place. And when it dries up and the fires come, it goes up, it's brittle, and it goes up just like that. So We're concerned about that acrid smoke from it, because if it stinks when it's alive, I'm not sure what it's going to smell like when it's dead, when it's dried up and dead. So anyway, thank you for allowing me to talk.
Okay, Barry. Yes, thank you. And being a resident of Desert Hills and the rural area of New River, the stink net is everywhere around us, and it's already knee-high around us also as well. So I do appreciate what you have going there also. Aside from, I know neighbors have actually started weed whacking it down. And again, it's like Chief Tobin said, you know, I don't know if they're even bagging it up. They're just weed whacking it down, which means the dry brush is still there.
Well, I will say one last thing for you is I'm a master gardener with the University of Arizona, Maricopa County Master Gardener Program. And so we are taking an avid interest in the instinct net, and we're putting together a lot of good information that we're going to be sending out to communities, and our own master gardeners will be also spreading the word about this highly invasive weed. It's from South Africa, by the way, and it comes to us via, we think, California. Into Arizona, but it's spreading around in the western states quite fast.
Okay, thank you, Barry, for your information. Okay, the next question we have is also from a country club resident, Bill Engler. My home is in Anthem Country Club and it has sprinklers. Is there a test I can do to see if the system is working? Also, is there a need to have the system inspected after 21 years? And if so, can you recommend someone? And this is for Chief Tobin.
Yes, to those, I would defer that to my fire marshal, Chief Dave Nielsen, who is much better prepared to answer questions about fire sprinkler systems, particularly residential sprinkler systems. I believe they're supposed to be tested annually. If I recall, and if it's been that long since he's tested it, then he should reach out. He can call Daisy Mountain Fire District if he wants. He can leave his information for me. I will call him. But if he calls and asks for the fire marshal, we should be able to take care of referring him. Daisy Mountain doesn't do that. We don't have the resources to test residential sprinklers, but there are private contractors that do that in both residential and commercial structures.
I think that that's a very good question. Thank you, Chief Tobin. And you know, that might be just something for the Anthem Community Council to be aware of also, because there's plenty of residents there in the country club that may not even realize that that's supposed to be done annually, tested. So thank you. Okay. Next question. What is the relationship? Oh, this is from Roger Willis. What is the relationship between Daisy Mountain Fire Medical and Sun City Fire Department? If someone in our district received from the Daisy Mountain Fire Medical receives a bill from the Sun City Fire Department for ambulance service, does the relationship between the two cover that expense?
Well, the relationship between the two of us is a good one. They're one of the partners in the automatic aid system, but each department, whether it's Daisy Mountain, Sun City, Peoria, Phoenix, you name it, that runs their own ambulance service, those are all regulated by the State Department of Health Services. It's a regulated industry in the state of Arizona, and each individual jurisdiction is required to send a bill for service for that. And you know, we would have, if someone from Sun City was driving up I-17, we would send them a bill too. So there is no offsetting relationship to Sun City when it comes to ambulance billing.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we do have a couple, well, it looks like maybe four in chat. Oh, you're just making all sorts of questions here for us here.
Yeah, I see them.
Okay, you do see them? Well, if you want to go ahead.
With Laura?
Yeah, start up at the top, yes.
Okay, so Laura's question is that she said that, she indicates here that she thinks I said there was a lower threat of wildfires for Daisy Mountain this year. Hopefully I did not say that. What I said was we're about as connected to Cave Creek Carefree area as anyone is. So we have as much concern about wildfires in Daisy Mountain as we do in Cave Creek. So I do not see this as being a lower threat. But the question is I'm curious, when there is a lower threat, what does this mean? So last year, we had high humidity, right? Our relative humidity was high in May and June. We all lived through that. And when the relative humidity is high, it reduces the risk of wild brush fires, right? Because it's just the ambient humidity doesn't allow the wildfires to go as rapid. But we were ready last year. The Daisy Mountain Fire District and all of our stations increases our staffing during the months of May and June so that we can put personnel on those apparatus that I showed you pictures of that typically in the off season, we do not do that. So we prepare by training, we prepare for additional equipment, and we prepare by additional staffing. So if it was a lower threat, we would also ratchet that back, which we did last year. We typically staff our additional apparatus from May all the way to Labor Day. To 4th of July, no, Labor Day. And last year we turned it off right after the 4th of July. We kept things going until the fireworks period was over with. But we had a low season, the humidity was high, so we scaled back our costs associated with wildland. So that's how we would, ratchet it either up or backwards. Does that answer her question?
Yeah, I think so.
Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
believe so. Okay, she said yes. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Laura. Eileen asked what organization you think is the most responsible for sharing information with the public about StinkNet and how to manage it. Well, I think we just had a great, master gardener, right? Retired from there's a lot going on with this that Maricopa County is trying to deal with on a larger scale. I would say Maricopa County Department of Emergency Management is your best resource for how to deal with things like this. We just take what they suggest and we share it, right? So that we're getting the same message from everybody. So I would say Maricopa County is the best source for that. And I really wouldn't know of any others.
Okay, she actually has a continuation on that question also, another question basically.
This is about the trails, I think. And what they're saying here is that, if you have trails throughout the district, then that helps with wildfires. And that is true. Any natural break of those creates natural barriers. And the question is, can we count on Daisy Mountain Fire Medical to support the expansion of trails in the area because of the win-win nature and providing better access to firefighters during a wildfire event? Of course, we support the Daisy Mountain Trails. I've been in contact with some of the staff there about, trying to assist them with some of their trail work. It hasn't come to fruition yet. My firefighters are pretty busy, and I don't, if we took them off into the trails and asked them to do trail work, then they're not available to get to their fire trucks, to do the other work. So, and we're not in that business per se. We do support the efforts. If there is additional funding to help us with that, we would certainly join, and we certainly are part of we cooperate with those types of things. But those hiking trails also are relatively small trails, in some areas. Natural breaks are great for us, and we recognize that they're out there. So can we count on you? It's a win-win. I agree. It's just how we work those things out is always the behind the scenes questions, right?
Yeah, well, and thank you for your support. And Eileen, thank you for the question. Very good. And I'll go ahead and touch base. Barry Allen is saying this to everybody. If anybody would like more information about StinkNet, he said you can contact him at barryallen@arizona.edu. So he has some information if you want to contact him. And again, barryallen@arizona.edu. Okay. I'm not seeing any other questions, but I do have a couple things I still want to touch base on. I was waiting till we got all done. Last year during your presentation, one of the questions was asked about zoning on the new firehouse. And then a couple days later that you had actually sent me out an email stating that you had misspoke about that the property is not required to go through any zoning entitlement. You could go directly to construction permitting for the new fire station. So then my next question would be, how is the fire station on Cloud coming along?
Okay, good question. So some of you recall in November, there was a election. How can we forget, right? If you watch anything on TV, there was an election, and there was a sales tax referendum to raise money for fire districts to provide additional service. We supported that sales tax increase. It failed, but we were waiting for the results of it because if we were going to expand service for Daisy Mountain residents as a result of that sales tax, we needed a place for those firefighters to live and work. So the construction of the station on Cloud was on hold while we determined the size and scope of the facility that we needed to build. In other words, if 310 had passed, we would have needed a larger structure there because none of our existing facilities allow that many people to be added to them. They're all at basically their capacity. So we would have built that station bigger. As you know, it failed. 310 failed. So we started immediately with our architectural firm, Perlman, which has been our architect for our other facilities in the district. The board approved bringing them on board to start looking at the things that we need to do to start the building of a fire station, which I have personally never done until I've been to the Daisy Mountain Fire District, and there's a lot to it. And that work is ongoing. We've done some site work with soil and things like that the architects have to do before they start. And we scaled back that station design to where it will, at this point, it looks like we're just going to duplicate the station that exists on Desert Hills, which is station 145, because we've already done the architectural work on that station before. So we're not duplicating building a station from ground up because we already have a design and scope that fits the Daisy Mountain Fire District. So we are, with board approval, obviously we haven't taken it to them yet, but that will be what our size and scope will be. Moving that design without the additional space on the east side, which is a large community room and other things that go with that station 145 design. We're just going to build the basic fire station model from station 145 on the site on 24th Street and Cloud, which, by the way, both of those sites, 145 and our new 144 are all zoned exactly the same.
Okay.
So it's moving. It's moving at not a very large pace, but I have to tell you, I'm concerned because the costs of construction are very high. It's a really difficult time to be building in the commercial market. We're hoping that has peaked to some degree. As you know, there's a lot of things going on with the economy and interest rates and things like that. Construction right now is, they can pretty much get whatever they want for whatever they're building because there's so much demand and so little supply. So we're trying to manage lots of things here so that we can afford to build what we have to build and build what we need. And it's really just going to be our basic model there at 24th Street and Cloud.
Okay, thank you for that update.
Sure.
We're running short on time here, but I did want to mention again, Supervisor Bill Gates will be at the Daisy Mountain Fire Medical 145, station 145 on Tuesday at noon. So if you'd like to speak to the supervisor, it's a good opportunity to actually ask questions and meet him face to face. thank you for joining us today, Chief Tobin, and for your presentation. And yes, I would like to, if you could email me the presentation, we'll get it up on the website, which
you
is Daisy
usually
Mountain.
have to-
I'm sorry, what?
You usually have to grab that off of like a Dropbox because, PowerPoint is too big to send through the email, but we'll work on getting it to you.
Okay, thank you. And the website, daisymountain.org, and then for Anthem would be online at anthem.com for your community news and community calendar. We have no speaker set up yet for next month, and I am going to be going to Anthem this afternoon and speaking with John and Aaron Baker on that. And there will be an email coming out on any kind of updates on that. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us today, for John for running the Zoom meeting, again for Chief Tobin for your presentation and working through those glitches. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sorry. I am just a fireman in heart, so all of this technology I got to catch up to, but we got there.
Yes, we did. And thank you. So, and for everyone who joined us, thank you again. Be safe out there and watch your emails for that update for next month's speaker. Thank you so much. Oh, what, Ann?
I just, I think somebody else has a hand up too, but I sent you an email, but I see Greg Watts is on the phone also. So I wanted to mention, I sent you an email about I-17 construction is FAN has a well up around Table Mesa, which is along the New River. And so I guess we had two concerns. I don't think they're pulling a lot of water out of that particular one yet, but when they do, we're worried about the water level in New River, the groundwater, and that affects the New River Preserve, but it would also affect the New River Elementary School where you get water too. So, and Jim Maglione, he's looking into it. So I wanted you to be aware or see if you were aware. I know you were at that meeting last week with ADOT. So they're trying to do the right thing, but it's one more thing to keep an eye on.
Yeah, this is Greg Watts. Can I speak really quick?
Mhm.
Yes, sure. I guess so. John, is that okay?
Yeah, Mr. Tobin, or is he's still on?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, last Tuesday in Black Canyon City at our community meeting, you were there. They were asking us to sign up on Alert Yavapai as a part of their emergency alert system. I got on there to sign up, but they had a thing to read the terms of service because it's a third-party vendor. It was page after page of fine print written by an attorney to where anything that happens, they're completely off the hook, and you as the one to be notified are the one that's responsible. And I refused to sign up. They need to get some kind of a third-party vendor to where you're not, signing your mother away to get the service. It was just ridiculous. I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay, I'll bring that. Did you mention that to Supervisor Gregory by any chance?
No, I didn't.
Okay, because although Daisy Mountain uses it because we're in Yavapai County up in Black Canyon City, the board of supervisors in Yavapai County were the ones that engaged that third party to manage what was before their Code Red system. They switched over to this one. I don't know any details about it other than they're responsible for that system, and it's Yavapai County Emergency Management. So I would direct your concerns to them. I'm sorry that there was all of that information. That's the best I can do though for how they're using their notification, and I guess it's up to you whether or not you engage them or not. But I would share my concerns with Supervisor Gregory, who was also at that meeting, if you remember last week.
Okay, thank you. And I did send you an email last Wednesday. I don't know if you received it or not, but
no, I did not.
I'll send you another one then.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
That was a good answer. Thank you, Chief Tobin. We had one more come in, if you have time for one more, from Jan Hancock. The Maricopa Trail and Park Foundation has okay, this isn't actually a question. A Maricopa County Trail and Park Foundation has a volunteer trail maintenance stewardship tool trailer that is parked in Cave Creek. And if you have groups of volunteers who can trim vegetation from trails in your area, please go to our website and let us know about your need. And that's www.mctpf.org. So that's a group that is actually working on the trails. So thank you, Jan, for that information. And there is some information in the chat that if everybody's doesn't realize it, if you click on chat on the bottom right-hand corner, there's 3 dots. And if you click on those 3 dots, up comes Save Chat. And you just click on Save Chat, and then you have your websites and all the information that was put on into chat. And that gets saved onto your computer or under Documents. Okay. I think that was it. I know there was a couple requests for Ann to send the information. So Ann, you saw those, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, well, I started saying it. So thank you everyone for joining us today. And please stay safe out there. And Chief Tobin, again, thank you so much for your presentation. Goodbye, everybody.